Hello all, welcome to Developing Success. So today we are doing a small topic in India geography, and that is the mineral resource in India. So in this lecture, in the mineral resource of India, I will just tell something about the basics of mineral resource in India, and then we will do the iron ore, which is the most important mineral, and it is asked again and again in the UPSC examination. So the distribution is mainly asked in the prelims examination, and the economic importance about the industries and all they can ask in you in the mains examination. So this basic topic should be known by you. So in the mineral resource of India, the first thing you need to know is the classification. Okay, so there are actually two kinds of mineral resource. One is the metallic mineral and the next is the non-metallic. In the metallic minerals you have two parts. The first is the ferrous minerals. Ferrous means the minerals which are iron containing, and next is your metallic minerals which do not contain iron. Okay, so the ferrous mineral which contain iron, their examples are iron ore, you have nickel, you have manganese, you have cobalt. So in terms of study, the important ones are iron ore and manganese. These two are the most important ones. And in the non-ferrous, which do not contain the iron, you have copper, lead, tin, bauxite, gold, silver, platinum. So for the UPSC exams, we will be doing bauxite, and you will also do copper and gold maybe. Okay, and in the organic mineral, which is the non-metallic, there is coal, petroleum and natural gas. We will cover this in the energy chapter. Okay, energy resource. And next is your inorganic non ferrous non-metallic minerals are mica, salt, potash, sulfur, granite, limestone, marble. So their types actually depend on the type of formation, how are they formed. Okay, so these minerals are formed in many ways. I will explain you some of these how they are formed. So if I talk about the first kind of formation, they can be formed in the igneous rocks. Okay, igneous and metamorphic rocks. So in the igneous and the metamorphic rocks, they are actually found in the cracks and the joints and the faults. Okay, they can be found there, and they actually occur in the veins, which are the joints and the cracks. Okay, and the metallic minerals like tin and the copper and zinc are obtained from veins of these rocks. So these are the igneous and the metamorphic formations. The next kind of formation is your sedimentary formation. As you know that sedimentary rocks are the those rocks which are the stratified rocks, like they are built in strata as they are deposited time and again. So a layer is deposited, and then over that layer another layer is deposited, and the rock piece becomes in a strata. So in this strata, there the rocks, the minerals are actually deposited, and they are actually pressed. So they are created in bed or layered structure. So there can be coal concentration like this, and there can be some other like the gypsum. Okay, and you can have potash, you can have salt, all those kind you will find. Okay, in the sedimentary formation. And mainly actually these minerals are formed by evaporation. So evaporation occurs, and the left behind part in the arid regions are you can call them as minerals. Now you can the minerals can also be formed in the formation involving decomposition. So sometimes we will see that the rainfall, by the rainwater or the river water nearby, the some of the elements are soluble in water, so they actually dissolve in water, and the left part we can come out as the minerals. And also there are some valley floors, like the alluvial deposits in the deltas, they can also create minerals. And there can be placer deposits. So placer deposits like the gold, the diamond, the platinum, the tin, they can be also be created. And also the ocean waters containing vast quantities of minerals, but the exploration of the minerals from the ocean water is difficult. They have very economic importance minerals like the manganese nodules. Okay, like the magnesium and salt, etc. So this is how your minerals are created. They are created by the geomorphic process, and they are not created in a day. Millions of years take them to create. They are actually all the minerals present are actually the coming out of the lava and getting solidified in different forms, and then again getting modified by the sunlight and by the rainfall, by the soluble nature, by the hardened nature, and all that. Okay, so this is the kind the minerals are formed. And there is one term which is known as ore. So what is this ore? Minerals are not actually, see, the rocks actually are formed of many of the minerals. There cannot be just one mineral. So one mineral example also we have, like limestone. Limestone is just one mineral, it does not have mixtures. But when you have mixtures, the term ore is used to describe an accumulation of any mineral mixed with other elements. Okay, so the mineral content of the ore must be in sufficient concentration so that the extraction can be done. So if this is a piece of rocks, there are many kind of minerals in the ore form here, and you can extract some of them, then you can call it a ore or you can call it a mineral. So it is like that. Now we come to the iron ore part. So the iron ore is the basic mineral and the backbone of the industrial development. As we all know that we need iron and steel in everything we use in our daily lives. Like you can take the example of a pin, and you can take the example of the aircraft. They are all iron are used. So Earth's most important iron ore deposits are found in sedimentary rocks actually, and they are formed from chemical reactions that combine iron and oxygen in marine and fresh waters. The two most important minerals in these deposits are hematite and magnetite. They are the two most important types of iron ore actually, and nearly all of Earth's major iron ore deposits in rocks are formed over 1.8 billion years ago. At that time, Earth's ocean contained abundant dissolved iron and almost no dissolved oxygen. So, the iron ore deposits began forming when the first organisms capable of photosynthesis began releasing oxygen into the water. So, before this photosynthesis, the oxygen was not able to release. So, this oxygen immediately combined with the dissolved iron to produce hematite and magnetite. So these mineral deposits on the sea floor is the great abundance, forming what is known as the banded iron formations. I told you the sea deposits are more than the land ones, and the rocks are banded because the iron minerals deposited in alternating bands with silica and sometimes shale also. Okay. Now, India has vast resource of iron ore. 20% of total world reserves are not only quantitatively but qualitatively also contains within India. And there are many types of iron ore. We will just talk about it. So the first type is magnetite, second is hematite, third is limonite, and fourth is siderite. There are many other types also, ilmenite also. Okay. So magnetite and hematite has a great confusion actually. Listen to it very carefully, that the iron content in the magnetite is around 60 to 70%, and it is one of the richest. Okay, it is one of the finest and richest iron ore, and in India it is found in the Dharwad Kadapa system of peninsula in southern block, and they are also known as block ore. Excellent magnetic qualities, especially valuable in the electric industry. Now we come to the hematite. It is an important source. It contains about 50 to 60% metallic iron. It is red and brown in color. It is important industrial iron ore in terms of quantity used, but has slightly lower content than the magnetite. So in many textbooks you will find that hematite will be written in number 1 and magnetite will be written in number 2. That is because of the use and because of the extraction percentage. Okay, but magnetite is more superior than the hematite. Next type is the limonite. So iron content of 30 to 50%. They have prominent constitute of lateritic rocks and contribute 7% of total production. It is mostly yellow in color and low grade iron ore actually, because 30 to 50% iron content only. Next you have siderite. It has more impurities, so the extraction is impossible, not impossible, but too much hardened. And then it contains 48% metallic iron contained in it. It's brown in color and it contains a mixture of iron and carbon. So that is why it's called a low grade iron ore. But these all are used in the industries. Okay. Now, the distribution is the most important topic from the exam point of view, and we have belts of iron ore actually. So, the first belt is your Odisha Jharkhand belt. then you have Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra belt, then you have Karnataka belt, then you have Goa belt, and then you have many small deposits of iron ore around the country. So if we see on the map, you can see that this is your Odisha Jharkhand belt. So in the Odisha Jharkhand belt, you have the iron ore, and you have very good iron ore. They are the very old iron ore of the Singhbhum plateau. And then you have here in the Durg Bastar Chandrapur belt, and this is your Kadapa system. Okay, and then you have some in the Andhra Pradesh also, Kadapa and Kurnool. And next belt is actually this one, Karnataka, Bellary, Chitradurga, Chikmagalur, Tumkur, and you have Maharashtra Goa belt. Remember one thing, that apart from this belts, you have iron ore at many places, like we have in Madhya Pradesh, we also have in Rajasthan, we also have in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh we have, okay, so many places. But these are the main belts where they are found in great quantities and great reserves actually. That is why they are classified into this belt. And Karnataka is the largest producer of iron ore in India. Remember this, Karnataka. So I will just do the notes part here. So in the Odisha Jharkhand belt, high grade hematite ore is found in Badam Pahad mines in the Mayurbhanj and Kendujhar districts. These two are the most important places in Odisha, Mayurbhanj and Kendujhar. And in the adjoining Singhbhum districts of Jharkhand, hematite iron ore is mined in Gua and Noamundi. So Gua and Noamundi are the important places in Jharkhand, and this Singhbhum is the part of Chota Nagpur plateau. Other places in Odisha are Sundargarh, Cuttack, Koraput, and in Jharkhand, Daltonganj and Palamau districts. But the most important ones are Mayurbhanj, Kendujhar, Gua, and Noamundi. Okay. Next, in the Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra belt, this is actually the Dantewada portion, and you have Durg Bastar mines also in Chandrapur. So this plateau is actually known as the Dandakaranya plateau. So if I talk about this belt, this can be CNP belt, Chota Nagpur plateau, plus your Odisha hills, you can call, if you also study the physiographic side by side. And if we talk about the Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra belt, you have two main divisions here. The Mahanadi basin is containing the iron ore, and apart from the Mahanadi basin, we also have in the Dandakaranya plateau. Dandakaranya plateau. Okay, I will just show you the location. So very high grade hematites are found here in the Bela Dilla range. This is the most important site in India, Bela Dilla range in the Bastar districts of Chhattisgarh. It is the best physical properties needed for steel making. Iron ore from these mines is exported to Japan and South Korea via Visakhapatnam port. Other places in Maharashtra in this belt is the Chandrapur. Okay, in this belt is the Chandrapur, not Ratnagiri, just the Chandrapur area. Then we have Karnataka belt. In the Karnataka belt, we have Bellary, Chitradurga, Chikmagalur, and Tumkur belt. The Kudremukh mines. The Kudremukh hills are in the Western Ghat section, if we talk about the physiography division and of Karnataka, and 100% export unit. Kudremukh deposits are known to be the largest in the world. The ore is transported as slurry through a pipeline to a port near Mangalore. High grade iron deposits are also those of Kemagundi in Baba Budan hills. This Baba Budan hills is also famous for coffee cultivation in Western Ghats of Chikmagalur districts, and Sandur and Hospet in Bellary. Shimoga is also an important place. So Karnataka is the first in the rank of the production in Indian state. Okay. Next we have Goa belt. In the Goa belt you have the Marmagao port, and also in the Goa belt is the Maharashtra part included, Ratnagiri. So Ratnagiri and Marmagao together accounts for Goa and Maharashtra belt. Apart from it, you will be finding iron ore in Tamil Nadu, like in Madurai, Tirunelveli, Andhra Pradesh, Kurnool, Guntur, Kadapa. Maharashtra, I told you about these places. Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, also you have Jaipur, Alwar, Sikar, Bundi, Bhilwara. Uttar Pradesh, Mirzapur, Uttaranchal, Garhwal, Almora. Himachal Pradesh, Kangra, Mandi. Haryana, Mahendragarh. West Bengal, Bardwan, Birbhum, Darjeeling. Jammu and Kashmir, Udhampur, and Gujarat, Bhavnagar, Junagadh, Kerala, Kozhikode. Now, let me tell you one thing, that 2 years back there was a question in UPSC prelims in regard to the iron ore distribution, and Rajasthan was one of the options. So don't think that this section is not important. If I have given this in the lecture, this is important. Okay, so consider these locations also, and consider this vast reserve of iron ore. So that is why we are doing iron ore in a separate lecture. Otherwise other minerals I have combined into one lecture because their distribution is not so wide. But if we talk about the iron ore, the distribution is too much wide. Now in the next map, if you can see here that the main belts, actually the iron ore belts, the first belt, the Jharkhand and Odisha belt here, the Jharkhand and Odisha belt. Next, and other belt here is the Maharashtra Chhattisgarh belt. Here you have Maharashtra Goa belt, and here is the separate Karnataka belt. Now we will revise from here what are the places. So in the Odisha and Jharkhand belt, you have Goa, you have Noamundi, you have Mayurbhanj, and you have Kendu Jhar. These are the important places. Then we come to the Dantewada region and the Mahanadi basin and the Dandakaranya plateau. If I talk about the Dandakaranya plateau, this is the Dandakaranya plateau. Okay. So in the Dandakaranya plateau, you have Beladila mines, you have Chandrapur, and in the Mahanadi basin you have Durg mines. Okay, this is very important. And next you have Karnataka. So in Karnataka we have Bellary, we have Chitradurga, we have Tumkur, we have Chikmagalur and Kudremukh. Let me tell you that Chitradurga, Kudremukh and Kudremukh, Chikmagalur, all these portions are in the Western Ghats. But this Bellary, Hospet and Tumkur region, this is in the Karnataka plateau, which is the part of the Deccan plateau. So in Karnataka, two physical subdivisions are there, physiographic subdivisions. One is your Karnataka Deccan part plateau and another is Western Ghats. Both have iron ore. And next, last is your Western Ghats section of Goa and Maharashtra. So in Maharashtra, the belt starts from Ratnagiri, it head into Marmagaon, and the port used is the Goa Marmagaon port. So these are the iron ore ports, the Goa Marmagaon port, and here is the Visakhapatnam port. Both are used for exports to Japan, South Korea and other countries also. Okay, so this was all about the iron ore distribution. Remember the distribution properly. The belts are the most important one, but also the important one are the small locations, so consider them also once. Do not neglect this. Okay, thank you. Take